I always believed that the cracks in a marriage appear quietly, like hairline fractures on glass, invisible until the whole thing shatters. But when my wife, Sophie, slid the divorce papers across our oak dining table with a smile that didn't reach her eyes, the shatter was deafening. She wasn't crying, trembling, or apologetic. She was calm. Collected. Almost rehearsed. The kind of calm that comes when someone's already moved on emotionally. "I need you to accept that Mark will be a part of my life," she said, her tone too gentle to match the bomb she had just dropped. "He's my friend, and if you can't handle that, maybe we shouldn't stay married." Mark. The name had been floating around our conversations for months, always innocent, always brushed aside. "He's just a colleague," she'd said. "He's helping me with the project." But colleagues don't send heart emojis at midnight. Friends don't cause your wife to lock her phone every time you walk into the room. I'd noticed it all, the subtle laughter over texts, the sudden care about how she looked before work dinners, the fading warmth in her voice when she said my name. And now, here it was, the ultimatum. I stared at the papers. My hands were trembling, but my voice wasn't. "You're telling me," I said slowly, "that I either accept another man's place in your life, or I lose my wife." She nodded, her smile tightening. "It's not what you think, Daniel. You're being dramatic. He's just important to me, and I can't pretend otherwise. He understands me in ways you don't." The words hit harder than any scream ever could. "He understands me in ways you don't." I had heard that line before, whispered between women and the men they plan to replace their husbands with. I should have yelled, thrown the papers, stormed out. But I didn't. I just sat there, quiet, my mind already moving past anger into something colder, clarity. "Okay," I said. "I'll think about it." Her eyebrows rose, surprised. She wasn't expecting that. "Good," she said softly, reaching across to touch my hand. "That's all I ask." I let her touch me. But something in me shifted at that moment, something final. Because in that touch, I felt no love, no remorse. Just calculation. That night, when she went to shower, I checked her phone. The same passcode. Same contact. And there it was, the thread that confirmed everything I already knew. "Sophie," I told him today. "Mark, how did he take it?" "Sophie, he said he'd think about it. He'll come around. He always does. Mark, once he signs, you're free." "Sophie, I can't wait. I love you." I stared at that last line until it blurred. "I love you." To another man. After all the years, all the sacrifices, all the nights I stayed up helping her through work stress, through family fights, through her own insecurities, this was the reward. She wanted me to accept him because she was already done pretending. But instead of confronting her, I made a decision. She wanted me to accept her friend? Fine. I'd accept the situation, but on my terms. The next few days, I played the perfect husband. I told her I was willing to meet Mark, to understand their friendship better. Her relief was visible, her guard lowered. She even thanked me, for being mature. That weekend, she invited Mark over for dinner. The man I'd seen in her photos, the man behind the texts, the man she thought she could slide into my life unnoticed. He arrived in a crisp white shirt, confident smile, firm handshake, the kind of charm that hides a liar's soul. I watched him compliment her cooking, her dress, her new haircut. I watched how she glowed under his attention. I barely spoke, letting them think I was the fool she described in her messages. But while they were laughing over wine, my phone buzzed, a text from a private investigator I'd hired 3 days ago. "Everything you suspected is confirmed. Sending photos and statements shortly." I excused myself, pretending to take a work call, and stepped outside to read the message. Photos of Sophie and Mark, hands entwined, kissing outside his car, checking into a hotel 2 weeks ago during her conference. The report was thorough: dates, locations, witnesses. I had what I needed. When I walked back inside, they were still laughing, sipping wine, pretending the world was perfect. I sat down, smiling. You know, I said casually, I've been thinking about what you said, Sophie. About accepting Mark. She smiled, a little too brightly. I'm glad to hear that, Dan. Yeah, I continued, and I realized something. You're right, he is important to you. In fact, so important that you risked your marriage for him. Her smile faltered. Mark looked confused. What are you talking about? I placed my phone on the table and tapped the screen. The photos lit up in full color, the two of them unmistakable, locked in a kiss outside his apartment. The color drained from her face. How? I told you I'd think about it, I said calmly. And I did. I thought about how long you've been lying to me, how you used my trust as a weapon, how you planned to leave me the moment I inherited my father's business. You see, I'm not angry anymore. I'm done. Mark pushed his chair back, muttering something about leaving, but I stopped him. Don't rush off. You should stay. You'll want to hear this too. I pulled out another envelope, papers of my own. These, I said, sliding them across the table just like Sophie had done days ago, are divorce papers. Already signed by me. But here's the difference, you don't get a penny. The prenup holds. The house, the business, the accounts, they're mine. You get nothing, Sophie. Not even the car you used to visit him. She stared at me, trembling, voice breaking. You can't do that. I already did, I said quietly. You wanted me to accept him? I do. Accept that he's yours now. Accept that you both deserve each other. And accept that actions have consequences. She started crying then, reaching for me, but I stepped back. Mark slipped out the door without a word, leaving her alone with the wreckage she'd built. For years, I had been her safe place. Her comfort. Her certainty. Now, as she fell to her knees, begging me to reconsider, I felt something I hadn't felt in months: his peace. I walked out of that house without shouting, without looking back. Outside, the night was quiet, the air crisp. I didn't need revenge anymore. The truth had done the job for me. By the time she realized what she'd lost, I was already gone, and free.